Hello and welcome to this, the very first video in our brand new year-long series of unpacking just what it means to being a great game master. This ragtag bunch behind me are going to hopefully help us unpack every little aspect of what it's going to take to become a great game master. No, now, hey, photo, come on, group, come on. Oh boy, you know, some people's children really. All right, okay. All right, enough of that. Come on. Get out of it. Go. Right, now that they're out of the way, my name is Guy, and we're going to be going through an incredible journey this year with the 3 circles being presented once a week. So what is all of this? What's this thinking? What's the thinking? Well, the idea is that there are different levels to being a GM, different circles we call them. And each circle is about understanding the art of our game and being able to draw and get the most from it. The way we're presenting this, though, is as a series of videos over the course of the next year where we unpack each of the 3 circles. There are many more beyond that, but these are the fundamental ones. And we're going to literally go step by step, circle by circle as you progress. Now, each month we're going to have 3 videos. One is for the first circle, one is for the second circle, one is for the third circle. If you consider yourself a beginner, if you consider yourself someone who has no idea what role-playing is about, first circle is for you. That doesn't mean that you don't watch second, third circle or third circle. It simply means that first circle is what you should be focusing on and what you should be working on as a novice GM. Once you've got a few games under your belt, second circle starts to become where you should really be focusing on. And third circle is for those of you who are comfortable running games, comfortable with creating adventures and leading a bunch of people on them on a weekly basis. Third circle is where you start to up your game. Fourth and fifth and sixth circles we will only look at next year if there's a demand for it. So each of the circles will be presented, as I said, on a weekly basis, and will also feature a companion live video once a week. So when first circle video finishes launching a couple of days later, there'll be a live session where we can literally answer your questions live as if it was in a standard kind of classroom-like environment. This will only start in the end of February, towards the middle of the courses, simply because I'm relocating this year. Each of the circles also has a practical assignment. This is for you to do in your own time and is really designed to help you get to grips with what we've been speaking about in the video. Now, of course, the entire idea is for you to grow and to develop. The practical exercises I've put together, I think, are going to help you to understand the concept that we were talking about in that particular week's video. And if you do them, keep them, because they're always interesting to go back at and look upon, and we will be reflecting upon them at the end of the year as well, so that you can see and track your progression as you have been going forward. Importantly, the notes, literally a year's worth of notes from over, what would it be, 150 videos or so, will be made available to Patreons. As the weeks go by, they can get the notes which expand upon the idea and obviously include all of the notes that I have made for myself to give these videos. In a nutshell, that's where we're going to be. Now, we also, as you saw at the beginning of the video, have assembled a range of characters who are going to be providing you with the practical side of things. So I will be giving you the theory, I'll be giving you the ideology, the thinking, the philosophy, all of that kind of stuff. And then the 12 characters are quite literally going to be giving you practical experience, how you can apply it to your game. Now, each of the personalities has, to a certain degree, an arena of play, some area of expertise that they've got more, perhaps, understanding of, just to help you to get a sense of how these things all fit together. Well, hello there. I'm pleased to meet you, Flugdemnos. I wonder, what is it that you truly desire? Well, I desire to teach you everything I can about monsters and how we should be more or less like them. I can tell we're going to get along very well. Yeah, I am Bjorn Bjornsson. I am retired Viking, so I will be showing you all the ways in which we can tactically, I suppose you would use that word, control or manipulate the players into doing what we want them to do on the battlefield. Well, in the game anyway. No, wait. Can we stop that, please? I don't want to come across that we're trying to control the players in terms of their decision making, but it's in terms of, I mean, we don't want to control them. We want to guide them. No. High up here in the jungles of Rakatang, we can see the birds circling amongst the deciduous trees, looking for fruit. I am Avid Battenborough, and I will be your guide and mentor and educator with regards to anthropological and natural phenomenon and how we can study the cycles of life and learn to incorporate them into our games. Right. Yes. Ron Cheese here. At your disposal. Rules and how to use rules in your game system to tell a better story. And if you need something fixed, you can ask me. I'll probably fix it for you. If you've got any questions, just what was the question? What? Yeah, how you doing? I'm going to show you how to put all the riddles together and make it all kind of work like a giant puzzle kind of thing. So y'all get confused, you come find me now. I'll show you what's going on, yeah. If you'll excuse me. How does it fit together? General Kuda. I will be responsible for ensuring that your decisions are wise, and that, like this great beast behind me, you strike without fear, but you only strike at that which might be struck at. Oh, yes. Hello, I'm Jonathan Swift, Royal Cartographers Society. I will be responsible for handling matters of geography and sort of finding your way around, that sort of thing, mapping out things. So, yes, that's what I'll be doing. Yeah? Was that all right? Yes. Now I do actually work here. Yes. No, not an idiot. Well. What? Oh, all right, we're done. Okay. Good. How do I sort of leave? Oh, Alad Senior. That's I'm the dad of Alad Junior. That is, yeah. So I will be representing all of the NPCs that you're likely to encounter. How do you make the most out of them in terms of bringing your campaign to life? Really, I guess you could say that. I mean, look, there's a great big dragon. You know, wife this morning was like, "Oh, there's a dragon. We should go call a hero or something." It's like, nah, just leave him. He's harmless. He's just probably going to, do his thing. Anyway, it's always the peasants that get it. It's always the peasants that get it. So I'm here to enlighten you as to philosophical state of oh, he's breathing fire now. All right, I better go. I've got to go and get a hero. See you later. Yeah, I am Major Touchy, and I will be ensuring that we adhere to the social contracts that we have all subscribed to. On those who do not know what those social contracts are, I will be informing them and of violations which may occur as a result of them not knowing about the social contract. This is my task, and hopefully by the end of the time you will understand what the social contract is and will be an acceptable member of society. I hope this is clear. Yes, it is I, Artusi Cressy, Professor Cressy. You recognize me, of course, from all of my work. Nothing, really. I will be helping you with creativity, unlocking the natural talent which you have, and obviously I have in great abundance. I cannot wait to work with you. I'm sure it's going to be simply marvellous. So that's the cast that will be presenting these seminars over the next year or so. You're welcome to watch all of them. You're welcome to avoid all of them. You're welcome to like them and to subscribe if you want to make sure that you don't miss out a single week. Now, if you think you're a third circle GM, and most of you probably are, you are still encouraged to watch first circle and second circle videos because they might touch on points that you yourself have either forgotten, overlooked, or just need to be reminded about. So, first circle, let's jump straight into it now that we're done with those introductions. What are we looking at first circle? Well, this is what we're going to be covering throughout the year. We're going to be starting with what is an RPG, what's its purpose and design, and there are some things in here which I think a lot of us have forgotten. The fundamentals, what are some fundamentals of role-playing? What are the basic mechanics? What do you need in order to get started? Game Master, what's your job? What is your actual job? And should it be even considered a job? The players, your team. This is not looking at role-playing from a player's perspective. This is looking at it from a Game Master's perspective. So how do players feature in the Game Master's sphere? Setting, how to write it and how to do it incorrectly. Mechanics, narrative, character design. Not PC characters. All of the characters that are going to shape your world. Map making, of course, it goes without saying. Adventure design, very basic overview of adventure design. What do we need and what tools are we going to be using? Table management, how do we control a table full of rambunctious players? And other things as well. And then end of year review and assessment and advancement to second circle. How do we reflect back? How do we look at our games and how do we understand who and what we are as game masters? We're also going to be using some tools. Now, I'm going to be referencing these tools throughout these videos. I need to make it absolutely clear here and now. You do not need to get subscriptions to these. You do not need to buy them. You do not need to get the free versions because all of them have free versions. It simply gives me a common reference point. So we'll be using World Anvil for all of our world creation stuff. We've got a whole separate series of videos that are going to be detailing a lot of that, but we will be using World Anvil from time to time. We're going to be using Dungeon Fog for all of our map making needs and requirements and the tools that come with it. And RPG Table Finder we'll use from time to time to find players and to create profiles that actually work. These are the tools that I like to use. You might have very different ones. There are tools that are comparable for each of these, absolutely. And of course, good old-fashioned pen and paper will suffice. It's simply so that I can refer to these tools and you know what I'm talking about. It makes and facilitates for faster communication. All right, this gigantic block of text is our founding statement. As game masters, I believe that if we agree that this is the core of what role-playing is all about, then we have common purpose. So if this does not resonate with you, if you're looking at this going, no, that's bollocks, no, nonsense, nonsense, then perhaps these are not videos for you. So here it is. Players assume the role of imaginary characters they create, based on statistics derived from a set of predefined rules, with personalities and motivations of the player's choice, with the intent of executing the desires and actions of said character within an imaginary world as created and controlled by a game master utilizing the same predefined rules set, with the express purpose of having wondrous adventures in fantastic situations and collectively creating a narrative experience. Dice are usually used to inject a random element to the outcomes of the actions taken by the characters. That, for me, is the technical explanation of what role-playing is about. So if someone said to me, what's role-playing about? There it is, that's what it is about. And we're going to unpack this now because it's a very complicated statement. And yes, probably full stop should have been required. Let's go through it. So players assume the role of imaginary characters they create. That's fundamental. I don't know of any role-playing game out there that doesn't have that as a requirement. You can have pre-generated characters, I'll give you that, but generally speaking, players are going to create some aspect of it, whether it is the statistics, which are derived from a set of predefined rules, or the personalities and motivations. At some point, the character is going to have that kind of inference from the player. It's undeniable. Now, derived from a set of predefined rules. That's important. We're going to be looking at rules. We're not going to be unpacking the minutiae of specific rules for specific rules sets. That's another thing that's important to bear in mind on this channel. We will reference things like, say, Dungeons and Dragons. We might reference Star Wars, Star Trek, D20, Cthulhu, Dragon Age. It doesn't matter. Most of these, in fact, all of them, have a set of rules, and those rules are going to give us some parameters which we can include, and we'll learn how to ignore as well. Now, they are responsible for the personalities and motivations of the player's choice. The player chooses how to run them. That's important. The player chooses, not the player is dictated by the character. This is an important sentence. With the intent of executing the desires and actions of said character. The desires and actions, what does the character desire and what does the character do? But what is the personality and what are the motivations? Very different things. We'll unpack this later on in much more detail if necessary. Now, within an imaginary world as created and controlled by the game master. An imaginary world created and controlled by the game master. The game master has created this world or is using a predefined world. We're going to unpack all of the advantages and disadvantages of that as well. So definitely something to look forward to there. Utilizing the same predefined rule set. I know it seems silly, but it applies to so much more than just, well, I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons and you're playing 5th edition of Call of Cthulhu and he's playing Dragon Age. We're having a great time around the table, not knowing what anything... No. It's more about homebrew and all of the things that go with that. So that's important for us to bear in mind. And of course, then the express purpose of having wondrous adventures in fantastic situations. Now, the important thing here is not to think of wondrous adventures as, oh, Care Bears floating around in clouds and genies and bottles. It doesn't have to be on that scale. Remember, we're also talking about science fiction, we're talking about modern, we're talking about horror. There's so many different genres we're going to be talking about. Wondrous means that we are in wonder. We wonder at the amazing things. They are things that leave us wondering and wanting more. Wondrous, in this particular instance, simply means something above and beyond the mundane. Something that we don't normally experience. Or if we do, it's in a fantastic situation. Now, again, that doesn't mean that it's fighting dragons at the edge of the world. It means that it is a fantastic situation where there is a possibility that anything could happen. So even if the situation is a courtroom where there's a courtroom drama playing out, it is a fantastic situation by virtue of the fact that we are collectively creating a narrative experience. We collectively do that. So it could be mundane. But it's fantastic because we control it. We collectively create it. Dice are usually used to impact random elements. There are other things, of course. You can have tables, look up tables. You can have statistically derived values based on GM player interaction. There's all kinds of things. But generally speaking, there's a random element. There's an element of chaos that removes, theoretically, control from this paragraph. Something important to bear in mind. So that's a very complicated sentence, very complicated. We are going to unpack that more in the future. So here's your first piece of homework. Today we're done. That's it. That's it. We're done for today. Here's your first piece of homework. Write down 5 reasons why you want to be a great GM. It's not hubris. It's not arrogance to want to be a great GM. It's a desire to have a much more engaging and entertaining time. It's your reasons, not mine. So write down 5 reasons why you want to become a great GM, and then write down 5 reasons why you don't think you'll be a great GM. Those 5 reasons why you don't think you'll be a great GM are probably more valuable than the 5 reasons why you think you do want to be a great GM. So keep it to yourself, keep it handy, and as always, you've got this. So that brings us to the end of today's video introduction to this whole new plan, this whole idea of moving forward and understanding and unpacking in a much more systematic way, a much more controlled way. We will only know whether this is something that you like or not if you leave comments down below. We need to know. There is that like button, of course, always useful to help guide us and give us some statistical feedback. The subscribe button is, again, useful if you want to have that little dot popping up next to this particular channel. But you know stuff is going to be coming out every single week. That's what we do here. And there are many options. Patreon is one of them. You can find a link for our Patreon down below. You get all sorts of extra stuff which will help enhance your game, your understanding. There's some podcasts on there. And of course, all of the course notes will be available there as well. And if you want to know about all of the books and all of the other stuff that we do on this channel, head on over to www.greatgm.com and you will find all of the information you could possibly want there. Until next time, I wish you and yours the very happiest of gaming. This is it. I'm disappointed, but that's, if you say that's it, then that's it, yeah. Should have used different words. Yeah, it's not about control, you know, it's about making sure that the path that they go on is the one that's most entertaining. That's really the job. It's adjudication of where's the fun. Yeah, I mean that's why we do this. Yeah, sure. There's no doers. Okay.